Hi, my name is Denise Wright, and I'm honored to be VirtualSC's Online Teacher of the Year. I've been teaching for 16 years, and 4 of those years have been online with VirtualSC. I decided to teach online because I wanted to have a greater impact across the state of South Carolina. The program's mission that I work for is to increase the graduation rate in South Carolina. And to be a teacher in VirtualSC and be a part of that is quite an honor. The transition from going from the classroom to online teaching was an interesting one. I learned how to take lessons from the classroom and flip them into an online lesson. I learned how to use engaging instructional tools, a telescope in a distance learning environment, as well as a telescope where students are actually emailed an image and they get to post it in an online forum. I developed a professional learning network through social media where I connected with many people in educational technology as well as science specialists. I've also improved my instructional skills by using video in my online classroom and making instructional videos and motivational weekly videos for my students to keep them motivated. One of the challenges that I found in teaching online was, how was I going to connect with students? I couldn't see them ever on a daily basis. So, I met that challenge by filming weekly messages to my students. I introduced myself to my students in an online forum, and I got to know my students also as they introduced themselves to me. I conducted a live field trip to the South Carolina State Museum where it supported my science curriculum standards, as well as conducted live sessions and worked with students in Skype. And I found that my connection in the online world was even a greater one than in the classroom with my students. Some of the instructional tools that I use to engage students in my online classroom are discussing current events in science, such as the New Horizons mission that just passed Pluto this past July. We are the first online classroom in the state of South Carolina to be using a telescope in a distance learning environment. I also use video and Screencast-O-Matic to make tutorials for my students. So if they're struggling or have a question, there's always a video or a tutorial in addition to myself to allow for help. In addition to that, we do engaging virtual labs as well as online sessions to help students when they are struggling or they have questions. We do final exam reviews. I foster an online learning community in my classroom where I get to know the students and they get to know me. Students can reach me via Skype where we screen share as well as instant message as well as talk online. I post a video every week about what assignments are due and give words of motivation. I meet my students' families as well as the students themselves at a live face-to-face field trip at the South Carolina State Museum. Students receive a weekly or bi-weekly text message from me. I frequently email parents, guidance counselors, building principals, and share all the wonderful things that we are doing in online learning and invite them to come out to the field trip with us. Learning is personalized in my online classroom because students can work at their own pace. I provide constructive feedback so that students can see how to improve their work and resubmit it. We have a variety of citizen science projects where students can seek out their interest and participate globally with scientists and volunteer what they've learned through these projects and collect scientific data. For example, we are looking at the telescope Spitzer, and Spitzer had over 450,000 images, and citizen scientists needed help classifying those images. Personalization is key in my online classroom. To improve instructional practices, I am constantly monitoring how student work is coming in. If I notice there's a problem or a student is struggling, I'll be sure to call them on the telephone, provide an online tutorial for them, or walk them through an assignment so that we can guarantee student success. Some of the evidence to show that my students are succeeding in my online classroom is when a student texts an image of themselves wearing their cap and gown at their high school graduation, or when I've been invited to a graduation in my local community. Throughout the semester, I got to know the students quite well and developed a personal relationship with them. It was such an honor, and at that moment, it told me exactly that online teaching is working for students across South Carolina, and that I was making a difference. Some of the awards that I have received as an online teacher, I was nominated this year as Teacher of the Year. I was selected 1 out of 5 teachers throughout the entire state of South Carolina to pilot a telescope in a distance learning environment, and I was selected to attend the Space Science Teacher Summit at the University of Colorado in Boulder. 30 teachers nationally were selected, and I was fortunate to be one of them. I believe in being better than I was yesterday for the students that I teach. I've had a variety of wonderful professional development experiences. I also had the opportunity of meeting Charles Duke from Apollo 16. That was quite an honor. Also, I attended astronomy camp in Tucson, Arizona, where I stood underneath a 61-inch massive reflecting telescope and got to view the beautiful Arizona sky. In addition to that, I was also selected this summer to attend the Space Science Teachers Institute at the University of Colorado, where I learned about the latest NASA missions, collaborated with teachers from all across the country, as well as gained instructional tools for my online classroom. And lastly, I was selected to participate in a global virtual star party with astronomers from Australia, England, and the United States. My greatest contribution in online teaching is helping students graduate and receive their high school diploma. Some of my concerns in online teaching are courses need to be rigorous and have strict accountability standards and meet state standards. Online learning should not be when students are reading from one page to the next. Also, the technology does not teach the students, an effective teacher does. In addition to that, stakeholders need to have the proper training so that they design engaging virtual online courses where a learning community is established. And overall, all stakeholders must believe in this type of teaching because a positive attitude overall affects the environment in an online classroom.